What's up, guys? Back to do a couple more faction focuses. Going to be jumping into the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Aeldari. We'll roll into the Adeptus Mechanicus first. The Priesthood of Mars. Just roll down into their faction rules. So their army rule is Doctrina Imperatives. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the Doctrina Imperatives below. Until the end of the battle round, that Doctrina Imperative is active for your army, and all units from your army that have the Doctrina Imperatives ability gain the relevant abilities shown below. Alright, so at the start of the battle round, you get to select one of the ones from below, and you have it until the end of the battle round. Every unit that has Doctrina Imperatives gets it. Alright, so you can choose either of them whenever you want each turn. So you could do one of them 5 turns if you wanted to. Doesn't look like there's a limit on that. Protector Imperative. Ranged weapons equipped by models of this unit have the heavy ability. Alright, so if you stay stationary, you get +1 to hit. Each time a ranged attack targets this unit, if the unit is within your deployment zone, worsen the armor penetration characteristic of the attack by 1. Alright, so if you're in your deployment zone, basically -1 AP to incoming attacks. Alright, so that's Protector Imperative, makes sense. So basically, for those holding your zone, just staying still and holding your zone, are going to get hit better, and you're going to have get better armor saves against incoming attacks. Then you have the Conqueror Imperative. Ranged weapons equipped by models of this unit have the Assault ability. Alright, so you can advance and shoot with them. Each time a model of this unit makes a ranged attack, if the target of the attack is within your opponent's deployment zone, improve the armor penetration character of that attack by 1. Alright, so now you can advance and shoot, and you get +1 to your AP if you're shooting people in your opponent's deployment zone. So this is when you want to go get the opponent. So we have 1 for win early, sitting still, playing the early game, and then this is more when it's go time. Alright, that seems solid, not overly complicated, but simple. Doctrine Imperatives let you adapt to the new battle plan, either by shoring up your defense early on or going for a knockout blow against a foe playing too safe. Yep. Then your detachment rule is going to be Rad Bombardment. Alright, so this is just something that's going to auto happen and changing per battle round. So battle round 1, at the start of the first battle round, for each enemy unit within your opponent's deployment zone, your opponent must decide whether that unit will take cover or stand firm. The unit takes cover until the end of the battle round. That unit is battle shocked. If the unit stands firm, roll 1d6 for that unit. On 3+, the unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Oh, that's really good. So they either take a 66% chance of taking mortal wounds, or they have to be battle shocked turn 1. Which means no stratagems turn 1. They can't fall back without taking damage, but that's probably not really relevant round 1. And they lose all objective control. Alright, so let's see. If the missions don't start scoring objectives till turn 2, then being battle shocked turn 1 isn't going to affect your primary score. And you probably aren't falling back from combat, so the first 2 things of battle shock probably aren't that important. You're really just using the ability to use stratagems on the units turn 1. So for the most part, I would assume you probably just take the battle shock against Admech turn 1, unless there's some unit that you really need to use a defensive strat on because you think they're going to get shot or need some sort of movement strat to help them get in a position. But the rest of the time, so on them, you just risk taking the D3 mortal wounds. But the rest of the time, I think you just eat the battle shock and just don't use strats on the unit turn 1. From round 2 onward, at the start of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th battle round, roll 1d6 for each unit within your opponent's deployment zone. On a 3 of the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Alright, so that's okay. That's not like... I mean, so you're not just going to sit there and take, but you're going to have to hold back units to hold your objective. So I know a lot of times you'll get a unit damaged and you'll run like one surviving model back to hold your back objectives, but you're not going to be able to do that because they're just going to keep taking mortal wounds and die anyway. So it'll have some ramifications, but I think if you just eat the battle shock turn 1 and move most of your stuff out, you'll take a couple mortal wounds on a few units on a 3-up. So over 4 turns, you'll probably take it at least 3 times. You're looking at probably 3 mortal wounds on one of your squad, or not one of your squads, any squads you leave back there. That's not going to kill most squads. Say you have a troop squad back there, even if it's 5 guys at 1 wood each. Worst case scenario, you have 1 left, but then he has to battle shock, and he can use object control. So, I mean, there will be scenarios where it matters, but I don't think it's going to be. You just have to plan around it and leave stuff back that 3 to 4 mortal wounds isn't going to battle shock them and make you lose your home objectives. Alright, then they're giving us the Skitarii Vanguard, 6-inch movement, toughness 3, 5-up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, objective control 2. Alright, nothing outstanding or shocking there. Archaeotech Pistol, Devastating Wounds Pistol. So 6 is to wound are going to be doing mortals. 12-inch range, 1 attack, 4 up to hit, strength 6, -1/1 damage. Arc Rifle, anti-vehicle 4+, devastating wounds, rapid fire 1. Alright, so this means on a 4 up to hit, you're getting critical wounds. Or I mean, a 4 up to wound, you're getting critical wounds. So 4 ups are doing mortal wounds to vehicles. That's pretty good. So 30-inch range, only 1 attack though. 4 up to hit, strength 8, -1 D3 damage. But if you roll that 4 to wound, it's going to be D3 mortals. Plasma Cavalier has a standard and supercharged. The supercharge will be hazardous, which means after you shoot the weapon, for each model that shot one, or for each weapon that was shot, you roll 1 dice. On a 1, you lose a model. So you get 2 shots, but you only have to roll 1 dice for hazardous after you take your shots. They're both 30-inch range, both 2 shots, both hit on 4s. Strength 7 goes to 8. -2 goes to -3. 1 damage goes to 2 damage. Pretty standard plasma profile on the weapon. Radium Carbine, anti-infantry 4+. So you're doing you're doing critical wounds to infantry on a 4+. They don't currently have another keyword on that weapon that triggers off the critical wound, so it's just letting you wound any infantry on a 4-up. 18-inch range, 3 shots, 4 up to hit, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. So it's that strength 3 that auto wounding on 4s, or not auto wounding. Doing critical wounds on a 4-up to wound just helps you wound some tougher stuff better. Transarctic Arquebus, heavy precision. So you stay still +1 hit. Precision, you can put wounds onto characters. 36-inch range, 1 attack, 4 up to hit, strength 7, -2 D3 damage. Alright, it's decent. Alpha combat weapon. I'm assuming that's your leader's combat weapon. Melee, 2 attacks, 4 up to hit, strength 5, -1/1 damage. And then close combat weapon, what the rest of the guys probably have, I assume. 1 attack, 4 up to hit, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. They're not your combat unit, so there's, nothing great here, but for a little troop unit, it's fine. Doctrine Imperatives, Rad Saturation, Aura. While an enemy unit, excluding vehicle units, is within 3 inches of this unit, subtract 1 from the objective control characteristics on that unit. So this does work on monsters, just not vehicles, and they lose 1 objective control. Alright, and then Wargear's abilities. Enhanced Data Tether. Each time you select the bearer's unit as the target of a stratagem, roll 1d6. On a 5+, you gain 1 CP. Alright, we've seen a few units have a little thing like this. So anytime you gain extra CP, that's not a bad thing. Omnispecs, ranged weapon equipped by models in the bearer's unit have the ignores cover ability. Alright, that's really good. Yeah, with APs going down, for the most part, anytime you can have ignore cover on your whole unit, just helps that little bit extra. 6-up invul save. Alright, good to have, but not like super game-changing. But overall, solid for your basic battle line unit. Then we go down here and we got Takes twice as many Vanguards and Rangers as others, yep. So Karen restaurants are double their bonus for movement charge distance from optimized gate. This gives the Decimal Infantry the feeling of well-oiled machines. Several other Adeptus mechanics use have the ability that improve when they're near their battle line comrades. Alright, so when Wolf Stalkers are near battle line units, they get better movement. If you want to advance a charge roll for this unit, while units within 6 inches or more friendly Adeptus mechanics battle line, add 2 to advance and charge rolls instead. Alright, so you basically gain an inch on advance and charge just for being near those units. So not like, once again, not like the most game-breaking thing, but dude, sometimes that extra inch or two really makes a difference with getting into a combat or getting to an objective or something like that. So definitely a useful rule. Then they go, give us Belisarius Call. A 6-inch move, toughness 8, 2 up save, 10 wounds, leadership 6, 3 objective control. He's got the Cellular Atomizer, which is blast and melted D3. So 18-inch range, so within 9, you're going to be doing D3 extra melted damage. So it's D3 attacks, hits on 2, strength 14, neg 4, 3 damage. Well, that's fine. You're shooting big units, you'll be getting extra shots from blast. Arc Scourge, anti-vehicle 4-up, devastating wounds, extra attacks. Alright, so he swings this in addition to, it looks like the Hive has extra attacks, so he'll be swinging all 3 of these weapons. So wounding vehicles automatically on a 4-up to wound, and that will also do mortals on a 4-up to wound against vehicles, and then extra attack. So 4 attacks, hits on 2, strength 5, neg 1, 1 damage. Calls Omniscient Axe is 4 attacks, hits on 2, strength 8, neg 2, 2 damage. And then the Mechadendrite Hive is 2d6 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. So he's doing 8 plus 2d6 attacks. That's going to average 7. So he's going to be doing about 15 attacks on average. Could spike up, could spike down, depending on your dice roll, but that's not bad. He could kill a little horde. I mean, none of his damage is that high, so he's not going to like kill a knight or something by himself with all those attacks, most likely, but he's not someone you want to take lightly. Invocation of Machine Vengeance. Let's see. There's the Canticles of the Omniscient. At the start of the battle round, select one of the abilities in the Canticles of the Omniscient section, see left. Until the start of the next battle round, this model has that ability. Alright, so you get one of these at the start of each battle round. Alright, so Invocation of Machine Vengeance Aura. While a friendly Adeptus Mechanica unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model that unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. Alright, so just 6-inch aura, reroll hit roll of 1. Mantra of Discipline, Aura. While a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time you take a Battle Shock or Leadership test for that unit, you can reroll that test. Alright, so 6 inches of reroll Battle Shock or Leadership. Shroud Psalm Aura. While a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit is within 6 inches of this model, the unit has the stealth ability, so -1 to hit. Alright, so you can give reroll 1s, reroll Battle Shock or Leadership, or -1 to hit for units near him. Alright, well, decently useful, depending on the situation. Mechanicus Bodyguard. While this model is within 3 inches of one or more other friendly Adeptus Mechanicus units, the model has the lone operative ability. Alright, so he doesn't have a leader, so he doesn't join squads. And so basically he has to have the old rule of being within 3 inches to gain what is basically character protection. Self-repair mechanisms. At the start of your command phase, this model gains up to D3 lost wounds. Alright, so this auto gains D3 wounds back at the start of your command phases. That's not bad. Alright, then he's got a 4-up invul save. He's a monster. Character, Epic Hero, Imperium Tech, Priest, Belisarius Cole. Alright, he's solid. Can't join units, so you know, one of the few characters we've seen that you still have to worry about keeping him within range of units to gain his protection. They're giving us Weapon Spotlight, the Eradication Beamer. We've got 2 levels. The Dissipated is Blast, Sustained hits D3, so 6 to hit will be D3 extra hits. And if you shoot big units, you're going to get extra shots from Blast. So this thing has the potential to put out a bunch of shots. 36-inch range, D6 basic attacks, hits on 4s, strength 9, neg 2 damage. Alright, so if you're shooting a big horde, roll high on your D6, get the extra from Blast, roll a couple 6s to hit, pop out those D3s. Alright, that's not bad. Focused Blast also has sustained hits D3. So, same thing. 18-inch range, D6 shots, 4 to hit, strength 9, neg 3 damage. Alright, so the only difference is the range. So, if you're within 18, there's no reason not to shoot the big shot, just because it's better AP and damage. Everything else is, the rule is the same: number of shots, what you hit on, uh, potential for blast and sustained hits. So, you only shoot dissipated if you're not in the 18. Once you're in 18, I see no reason not to just focus. Which is interesting. It's very rare you see something that the only thing that changes is the strength. Normally, the number of shots go down with the large shot as well. But yeah, I really like that weapon a lot. Probably see these things a lot more. All right, then we get some strats. Aggressor Imperative. In your charge phase, one Skitarii unit from your army that advanced this turn. This is the first thing I think we've seen with just Skitarii and not Adeptus Mechanicus. Until the end of your turn, your unit is eligible to declare a charge even though it advanced this turn. Alright. And the stratagem if the Conqueror Imperative is active for your army. Alright, so this stratagem is tied to the Conquerative Imperative, but it gives you, so you can advance and Conqueror, you can advance and shoot. So now you can advance, shoot, and charge if you pop this on a unit. Alright, that's solid. Or you pop it on the brain fart on the guys. But the ones that are getting the +2 to advance and charge, plop this. Oh, they get 2 inches of advance and extra 2 on their charge. They're getting into something. Then you get the Bulwark Imperative. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. One Skitarii are also tied to Skitarii. Unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the enemy attacks. To the end of the turn, models in your unit have a 4+ invul save. You can only use this stratagem for Protective Imperative. Alright, so you have a defensive one for Protector Imperative and an offensive one for Conqueror Imperative. Alright, so since you're limited to how many stratagems you get per army now, per detachment, that's interesting that they divided this up between the detachment, or between the imperatives, so depending on which imperative you're in, you're really going to be limited on how many strats you are if they did this with too many. Maybe it's just the 2 that do that, and the rest are just all around, but if they did this with more than that, interesting. Alright, well, that's all they give us on the Admech. Really like this gun. Stats on the data sheet seem fine. Army rolls seem decent. Rad bombardment's a little weird, but I think most people can just play around it by just eating that battle shock round 1 and then just get most of their stuff out of their deployment zone, which I guess some armies don't want to do, so you will force some people to change the way they play a little bit, but 1 mortal, potentially 4 mortal wounds over the whole game to a unit isn't that devastating, but if you're taking damage from other places, that just helps a little bit. But yeah, Admech looks solid. Not the strongest that we've seen, but definitely not the worst we've seen. Seem like we're right there in the mix for everything. But now we'll go ahead and roll into the Aeldari faction focus, the Children of Asurian. Let's see. Alright, so then the army rule is going to be Strands of Fate. If your army faction is Aeldari, at the start of the battle, make a Strands of Fate roll by rolling 12d6. 12d6. If you wish, you can then reroll all these dice, but if you do, roll 1 less d6. You continue rerolling all the dice in this manner, rolling 1 less d6 each time you do, until you're satisfied with the results rolled, or until you only have a single d6 remaining. Alright, so like the mulligan in Magic. When you're satisfied with the results rolled, those remaining dice become your fate dice for the battle. These results cannot be changed or rerolled further, unless a rule specifically states otherwise. Keep your fate dice as one side. This is your fate dice pool. Alright, so they're just your fate dice for the battle. So, before making a dice roll for a model or a unit from your army with Strands of Fate ability, if you have 1 or more dice in your fate dice pool, you can use one of those fate dice. To do so, select one of those fate dice to substitute that dice roll. That dice that is being substituted is not rolled. Instead, the value of the selected fate dice is used if it had been rolled. Counts as an unmodified dice roll, the value for all rolls purposes. Each fate dice can only be used in this way once. After using a fate dice, remove it from your fate dice pool and roll all remaining roll all remaining dice that are part of that dice roll, if any. You can use fate dice for any of the following types of dice roll: advance roll, battle shock test, charge roll, damage roll, hit roll, saving roll, wound roll. Alright, the standard reroll stuff. Alright, so let's just... Before making a dice roll for a model or unit from your army with the Strands of Fate ability, if you have one or more dice in your fate dice pool, you can use one of those fate dice. To do so, select one of those fate dice to substitute. Alright, you roll all remaining dice that are part of that dice roll, if any. Alright, so I'm not really sure here if you can only use one dice or if you could use multiple dice on the same roll. Before making a dice roll for a model unit from your army with strength fate, if you have one or more dice in your fate dice roll, you can use one of those fate dice. Alright, so it's before making a dice roll. But are we doing it model by model? Like, is it supposed to be single dice rolls like it was last edition, where that's technically a roll, but we fast roll? In which case, you might be able to use these for each specific dice you're using. Or is it... I'm thinking you might be able to use multiple, but I'm not sure on that. Don't hold me to that. Their detachment rule is unparalleled foresight. Each time an Aeldari unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight, you can roll one hit roll and you can roll one wound roll when drawing those attacks. Alright, that's a solid rule. On like a big unit shooting lots of attacks, it's not huge, but if you've got that just one really significant gun in a unit or on a tank or something you want to get in, that's very useful. Alright, they're giving us a Farseer. He has a movement of 7, toughness of 3, 6 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, objective for 1. Alright, nothing shocking there. Eldritch Storm, Blast, Psychic, a 24-inch range, d6 shots, 3 up to hit, strength 6, -2, d3 damage. Shuriken Pistol, Assault, so advance and shoot it, pistol. 12-inch range, 1 attack, 2 up to hit, strength 4, -1 damage. Singing Sphere, also Assault, Psychic, 12-inch range, 1 attack, 2 up to hit, strength 9, AP 0, 3 damage. Singing Spear, Combat, Psychic, 2 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 3, AP 0, 3 damage. And then the Witchblade is Anti-Infantry 2+, so wounding infantry on 2s with critical wounds. Psychic, 2 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 3, AP 0, 2 damage. So, unless you put something else on it, the critical wound really is just letting you wound on 2s. It's not triggering an extra rule unless you give him an extra rule somehow with a stratagem or something. Leader, so he'll be joining units. Strands of Fate. Branching Fate, Psychic. Once per turn, when you use a fate dice, substitute a roll made for a model or unit within 12 inches of a Farseer model from your army. One model from your army with this ability can use it. If it does, the result of that fate dice is first changed to a 6. Alright, so you can turn some of your bad fate dice rolls into a 6. Once per turn, too, not once per battle route, so you can do it on your turn and your opponent's turn. Fortune Psychic. In your command phase, you can roll 1d6 on a 2+, select one friendly Aeldari unit within 12 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next command phase, each time an attack targets that unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Alright, so you can give out -1 to wound on one of your units. And I'm not seeing anything that says you don't get multiple psychic powers just off, so I'm assuming these abilities are just active all the time. So that's pretty nice for them. And then 4 up invul save. Yeah, nothing shocking there. Basically what I would expect from a Farseer. Then we got some Guardian Defenders, 7-inch move, toughness 3, 4 up save, 1 wound, 2 on the weapon platform, leadership 6, gesture control 2, 0 on the heavy weapon platform. Alright, so then let's look at these heavy weapons. Well, the weapons, so the Aeldari missile launcher has the Star Shot and the Sunburst, and the Sunburst is Blast. 48-inch range, 1 attack, d6 attacks, both hit on 3, strength 10, strength 4, -2, -1, d6 damage, 1 damage. So your anti-big stuff, your anti-infantry. Bright Lance, 36-inch range, 1 attack, 3rd hit, strength 12, -3, d6 +2. Scatter Laser, 36-inch range, 6 shots, 3 up to hit, strength 5, AP0, 1 damage. Shuriken Cannon, sustained hit 1, so 6 hits are an extra hit. 24-inch range, 3 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. Catapult is assault, so you can advance and shoot it. 18-inch range, 2 shots, 3 up to hit, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. And then we got a Star Cannon. 36-inch range, 2 shots, 3 up to hit, strength 8, neg 3, 2 damage. Alright, solid looking heavy weapons. Shuriken, nothing surprising there other than they, looks like they lose their 6s to wound to extra AP. So that's could be something everybody that's not an Eldar player is happy to see. Close combat weapon, 1 attack, 3 up to hit, strength 3, AP0, 1 damage. Then they get Defenders of Fate. At the end of your command phase, for each objective mark you control that has 1 or more units from your army with this ability within range of it, roll 1d6 and add it to your Fate dice pool, displaying the results you just rolled. Alright, so these guys are going to give you access to extra Fate dice at the end of your command phases. When the last Guardian Defender model in this unit is destroyed, any remaining heavy weapon platform models in this unit are also destroyed. Alright, so if you kill all the guys, the heavy weapon platforms just go away. Alright, Defender's Fate, that's a nice little ability. They seem like a very standard battle line unit that I'm sure you'll see and lists to hold objectives, get you extra dice, put out some shots. Alright. And then they're giving us the Prism Cannon. So it's got a Disperse Pulse, which is Blast, 60-inch range, 2d6 shots, 3 up to hit, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. Alright, so random shots, but Blast should help with that if you're shooting into bigger squads. Focus Lance, Linked Fire, 60-inch range, 2 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 18, neg 4, 6 damage. Alright, let's see what Linked Fire does. When selecting targets for this weapon, you can measure range and durability from another friendly fire prism model that is visible to this bear. Alright, so the fire prisms can still shoot through each other. So that's useful. So you still need range from this vehicle, but you can do the line of sight from a different vehicle. Alright, and then Fire and Fade. Alright, here's a big one. End of your shooting phase. Alright, so this is the end of your shooting phase. Alright, so you get to shoot, you have to do all your shooting, and then you can do this. 1 Aeldari unit from your army. Your unit can make a normal move. It cannot embark within a transport at the end of this move. Alright? You cannot select an aircraft unit or a unit within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units until the end of the turn. The unit you selected is not eligible to declare a charge. Alright, I like that. That's they still keep Fire and Fade, but it's at the end of the shooting phase, so some armies have reactive abilities that they will be able to use now, which is nice. And that's all they give us. We only get 1 stratagem for the Eldar. Seems nice. Seems decent. Like the depending on how well you roll on your Fate dice roll, that will really determine. Like if you get a lot of high rolls, and then you keep popping them out with the defenders, and the couple low rolls, the Farseers are turning into 6s. It just really picks up the consistency of the army, which can be really huge, especially playing competitive stuff that's consistent and you can rely on to do what you need it to do and not hope it'll do what you need to do is definitely an advantage. So doesn't seem super overpowered, but definitely should hopefully be fairly reliable, which good Eldar players should hopefully appreciate. But that's it for these faction focuses. Thank you guys for watching.